a very warm welcome to LawWiser. We at LawWiser welcome you to an intriguing 10-minute episode with Mr. Vivek Sood, a distinguished senior advocate and author of 7 books. In fact, his 8th one is already under progress. Now, this interview series promises to be no holds barred. We will address topics that arouse curiosity, controversy, debate, and introspection. Today's episode will explore defamation from a whole new perspective. Without further delay, let's welcome Mr. Sood to LawWiser. Hi, sir. Very warm welcome to this session.
Hi, Lavanya. Thanks for bringing me on this platform.
Yes, sir. It's our pleasure, and I'm quite looking forward to this conversation because I'm sure it's going to be very interesting, all our interactions are. So I know we promised the audience that we will stick to 10 minutes, so let's straight away dive into it. My very first question is that in several countries, like, for example, Australia and New Zealand, defamation is not a criminal offense. But as I understand, in India, it is. So I'm keen to know from you that, why is this concept interpreted differently in different jurisdictions? Why is it a criminal offense in India?
Lavanya, every country has a different legal system. Every country has a different society.
Right.
Every country has a different constitution. So, you can't copy paste laws from one country to another. Now, having said this, for example, countries like Australia and New Zealand, the social maturity is very high when you compare those countries to India. There people are far more conscious in what they say and what they should not say.
Right.
So therefore, in that context, as a matter of legislative policy, those countries have restricted the law of defamation only as a civil wrong. However, in India, we are still a growing democracy. We may be the mother of democracies, but we are still evolving. We are a young republic of 75 years. So we are yet to mature as a society as to what to speak, how much to speak, what not to speak. Right. Therefore, the legislature and the government, in their own wisdom, have rightly let defamation be a criminal offense also, in addition to the same being a civil wrong.
Wrong. Right.
Just because it has been decriminalized in other countries, it doesn't mean that it has to be decriminalized in India also. Maybe in future, if we become a very mature democracy, people become conscious of what they talk and how much they want to talk and what not to speak. Maybe we can do away with the criminal part of defamation in future.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, sir. So actually, this brings me to my next question because, as a layman, a common man wants to understand that what is the difference between the right to freedom of speech and expression. And so where's the overlap? Because as a citizen, I have the right to freedom of speech and expression. It's a fundamental right. So then where is that overlap and conflict between that and defamation? If you could explain it, in a simple way so that everyone could understand.
Freedom of speech and expression, very often we call it free speech.
Yes.
It is a fundamental right guaranteed to every citizen in India under Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution. Now, freedom of speech is not absolute.
Right.
There are reasonable restrictions that can be imposed on the freedom of speech and expression. Now, one of the reasonable restrictions stipulated in Clause 2 of Article 19 is defamation. So, freedom of speech extends to a point of Lakshman Rekha. There is a Lakshman Rekha.
Yeah.
Beyond which it can be restricted on the ground that it is defamatory in nature. So there's no conflict as such. There's no overlapping as such. All I would say, it is the harmonious application of the constitutional law. Free speech is very broad. It is not absolute. There are reasonable restrictions that can be imposed on free speech, one of which is the law of defamation, civil and criminal.
And criminal. Okay. So I think the definition of reasonable limitation can be is very interesting. So maybe we'll cover that in one or two cases that we discuss as we go along. But linking to this question, what according, so you spoke about Article 19. So I want to understand that what according to you could be the rationale for bringing defamation under the Indian Penal Code rather than just as an exception within Article 19 itself?
Again, I would say, it's a matter of legislative policy. The lawmakers in India, the founding fathers or the founding parents of the Indian Constitution, why should we restrict the benefit or the adulation to the only the men? So let's call them founding parents of the Indian Constitution. Yeah. They found it wise. They found that in India, keeping in view the society that we live in, keeping in view that we are, we love to talk as Indians, and we go overboard also, and so therefore they have, in their own wisdom, they have put this reasonable restriction of defamation under Article 19, Clause 2. Moreover, in the age of social media, social media has come of age in India for the last, say, about 10 years. And we are still growing. We are still learning social media. We are understanding social media. We are exploring and experimenting with social media. And, and we are very rash in many ways, when it comes to social media. So I feel, in the wisdom of the governments and the lawmakers, we have chosen to keep this law of defamation in the Indian Penal Code of 1860. We've retained it rather than doing away with it. And the constitutional validity of the criminal law of defamation was challenged before the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has upheld the constitutional validity of sections 499 and 500 IPC on the ground that it is necessity. It is necessary for a country like India at this point of time.
Okay, that's really interesting. So I'm actually curious that I will go on to something which interests every second person, because all of us, read the papers, like film-related news and stuff. What is your take on celebrity-related defamation cases? Because I feel like every second day somebody is suing either an artist or a star, or they're suing the media. So it's really possible, like for example, when you are a celebrity, you sort of considered a public figure, and people do say stuff and comment about you, and yes, that helps them stay in the limelight also. And then obviously the media is reporting on you, and somebody writes something every day. So where is that line that you draw? And sometimes you feel like they're suing for defamation just to get that attention. So it's very interesting. I'm just wondering if you have any sort of insights into this.
First of all, on a lighter note, these celebrity defamation cases are good for lawyers. They make their money in the process. Because, one wishes this kind of a fight in the media among celebrities goes on and on. Now, having said that, on a more serious note, the law does not distinguish between celebrities and commoners.
Right.
The law of defamation or the entire criminal law. If you read the IPC, every provision talks of whoever commits the offense, whoever. It is man, woman, everybody. So it does not distinguish between people. Now, having said this, definitely, there's a rise in the celebrity defamation cases. And celebrities, they have, I guess, very vulnerable egos.
Yeah.
And they have a lot to protect. So I guess the trigger is, always there. The moment they feel that their reputation is being harmed.
Yeah.
And then they have all the money and ammunition to fight it out in the court. Sometimes, Lavanya, I call some of these litigations as luxury litigations,
right.
Not born out of necessity. And so, celebrities don't fall into any separate category. Whoever is defamed can go to the court. But of course, the hurt, the valuation of the hurting of the reputation is higher. So therefore, these
Correct.
claims are bigger.
Correct.
Again, in a lighter vein, many of these celebrities may gain in their valuation and reputation with these defamation cases. I wouldn't mind a few of them slapped on me. I think it will double up my practice.
So actually, this is something interesting that you just said, that like news, good or bad, is publicity, right? So I'm just wondering, if I have sued someone for defamation, and in fact that person, and this is again very layman language, if that person proves, or whoever proves in court, that actually the defamation has led to an increase in my value, and maybe I got to sign 2 films after that, and I became famous, what happens then? The idea is that I'm telling this person, because of defamation, my reputation has suffered harm, I'm going to suffer loss, etc., etc. But what if the opposite happens? Does that hold legally in any way?
Defamation is defamation. So the moment you hurt somebody's reputation, it will be an offense or a civil wrong, as the case may be. However, insofar as the punishment is concerned or the damages are concerned, what you said may have some relevance.
Right.
You argue as the complaint, you argue that actually your reputation has gone up.
Yeah.
So Mr. Complainant, your reputation has gone up, your valuations have gone up, so you must give me a share in that profit rather than imposing a liability on me.
Right.
So defamation will remain defamation, but this will have a mitigating effect on the punishment or the damages, as the case may be.
Right. Okay. Great. My last question, and maybe this would be the most interesting one of this episode. So everyone is talking about this. There's something coming in the news every day. So I will ask you point blank your legal opinion on this. Are the remarks of Mr. Rahul Gandhi regarding the surname Modi defamatory?
Lavanya, with my experience and my understanding of the law of defamation encapsulated in sections 499, 500 IPC, in my view, what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said on the surname Modi is definitely defamatory in nature.
Okay.
I'm very clear about it. It's not a borderline case. I would not, want to mince words. But in my view, it is a clear case of defamation with respect to the surname Modi. I'm not going into the other defenses, etc. But per se, in my view, it is defamatory in nature.
All right. Okay. I would love to talk more about this, but I think we are past 10 minutes. But I'm sure, so we're going to see you again for another very, very interesting episode. Thank you so much, Mr. Sood, for your time. And always, it's always a very interesting conversation with you. So we'll see you again on LawWiser. And I hope that you enjoyed the interview as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Lavanya.